Good morning, guys. Well, we're gearing up for the the Kaizen events and the bits and pieces and the tidying, and I cannot wait to clear out that area and get through all those bits and pieces. So we're building last of the lights that need to be done. So getting through those, which is quite cool. I really like. I'll just show you, and there is something I need to change to this, but this little double-headed pathway light, I think it's awesome, right? So I say it's little, it's going to be 1200mm tall. The problem is, see these hinges, orientating them. Can you see that? It's not orientated the right way. This one is. That one's by luck. So to orientate these, what we really need to do, I had this idea ages ago. Basically, machine where you got an M10 thread on one end, and then a little barrel with obviously a hole to allow the cable to get through, and a slot for grub screws. That'll be your threaded bit, and then on the hinge, I'll just grab this one. On the hinge, you have just some grub screw holes, like 2 or something, or 3, whatever. Maybe even just 1 actually. Just needs a bit of experimenting with to work out what works to grab in the slot, and then obviously you can rotate the direction to your heart's content, and it means that, you know, especially for something like this, I might have to do it. I might have to do it this morning. I might speak to Steve and say, Steve, is he definitely coming PM? Because if I've got time, I want to change his hinges. I know I'm gonna. But basically, wouldn't it be great to be able to take the head and go, oh, actually, I want it to point over that way, or over that way. At the moment, we can't do that. And it's the same for our double-headed wall lights, things like that. There's no like rotation, you know, kind of like they're kind of fixed in. So where single wall lights can be rotated, but they're rotated on the base, and that works absolutely fine. Saying that, obviously, it'd be better again to rotate the hinge if you can. So just giving them the extra options. So it's probably something I'm going to work on today. No doubt. I'm going to speak to him and just find out whether or not that's all right. This morning I got some new bits and pieces going. So we've got some new ultra wide inserts, which are these little inserts. They just basically sit between the LED board and the acrylic lens, just to press the LED down, because we kind of rely on the fits and stuff. We're trying to get the vertical redesigned at the moment, so we're trying to redesign all of the fittings. So let's just Abdul printed this little nut test holder, so just to confirm which dimensions work best for nuts. And basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to create the spikes where actually we go back to press fit nuts, but the nuts are tight, because then we can complete prints. I mean, the problem we've got at the moment is, so you see, if you look at these spikes, the nuts are encapsulated. The nuts are encapsulated, and sometimes what happens is the nut, if it just veers just off of being flat, the screw gets, it basically goes off center, and then you've lost the nut. Obviously, if you've got a press fit nut, you don't really have that issue. You can just press the nut back out and do whatever you need to do. Oh look, that's just finished. We're experimenting at the minute to see if we can get this, and if we can do this, then we're going to do it on all the products. And the great thing will be is that we can actually print finished prints, whereas what's happening at the moment is it's relying on us to come round, say like this one, in a minute, in 3 minutes this will pause print, and it will pause print, and it will wait for us to fit the nuts, and then resume print and print over the top of them. You know, it was a wonderful idea, but in theory, but it's just something I think hasn't worked as well. So I might have to develop something that actually presses the nuts in, because I mean, this is meant to be something that, you know, the nuts are meant to press in right now. That is hard. I mean, we want it to be tight, of course we do. We don't want them to fall out, but I just can't. I'm literally fiddling about with this right now. On camera, of course. I'm like, oh, can't get it in. I think I've got it orientated around the wrong way. That'll probably be why. It's something that we're trying to get right now. Hang on. Perusa are bringing out a new printer. I think it's coming out March or April time, maybe even February. It's the XL. So I would love one, I really would, but they're £1,600, which is a lot of money. Bigger build area, so we can make bigger spikes. One win. Second thing is that they've made it more energy efficient. So rather than heating the whole bed, it's got little heat zones, and it knows basically you essentially in G code knows where the print's going to be, so it knows where it needs to heat, which is awesome. And the biggest one is you can have like 5 or 6 heads on it. So for that, what I would do is I'd have 1 mil doing like the main structure, and then for the nut bits, I'd go to a 0.4 mil nozzle, because I know that then I would get the dimension and the shape of it more accurate than I can with a 1 mil nozzle. If you imagine a 1 mil nozzle, when you go to the radius is 0.5. The nut radius is not 0.5. It's a lot smaller than that. So yeah, I'd love the idea. The problem just for us is cost right now. We short of cash is the main thing. I've got to find the money for the payroll at the end of the month. I hate things being like that. I really do. I need to go pull an anodize off. Business, small business, etc. Sometimes cash is a struggle, and we shouldn't really have that much of a struggle, because we're in a great position where we get, especially with our trade sales, etc. We get payment up front. Wholesale, we have to wait 60 days. So wholesale's annoying, just pulling out these ball joints. But it's like your bread and butter kind of stuff, and it is something that actually we kind of want to expand. But to expand it, obviously you need more cash. It's something that bit by bit will bridge. I'm really bad with money, so I try and operate profit first principles, but sometimes I get a bit carried away. Sometimes I'm like, oh wow, I've not, and I don't necessarily, we get a bigger order in, we get the money come in, and I'm like, oh well, I know there's something that we need, I'm going to buy it. And it might be 2-3 grand, and this place represents loads of those items that are like that. Silly, isn't it, really? So, for fun, I will show you me spraying these. I've got to spray these brown. It's kind of weird. I mean, you do it one-handed anyway, but it's kind of weird trying to hold a camera and do it at the same time. And what you'll find is the powder collects really well around the back and not so well around the front, which is the way it works. There we go. If I grab one off, see that? Perfecto! So I can go stick that in the oven. So this is one of the new things we're doing at the moment. We're putting that grub screw in the back for side entry to basically grip into the ball joint, which means that then you don't get any of the ball joint rotation. We don't have to use any thread lock stuff, so that makes life easier. What I'm doing is I'm creating this little tool. So basically what I did is I took this is to screw the ball joints in, because some people have said the ball joints haven't been tight enough. So I took the ball joint, designed it in there, and then modified the shape, drew around it, etc., and then extruded it out. So we're going to give this a print, and then hopefully this will be a tool to actually tighten the ball joints up. Like an absolute lunatic at the moment, but we made some adjustments so that we got not a thread in the back of these, but actually just some holes for grub screws. So I'm literally just going to put these on pre-bake, which is just to basically dry them off. And then I'll show you, we're running down to the machining. At the moment we're machining, oh, there's none there. These, which is like a new little threaded section, and it allows us to adjust the rotational position with a grub screw. But yes, I'm running around because basically Max has just tested positive with COVID. There's another guy off, and he was building these lights. So, and the customers come collect them. So yeah, all good. There on these rods, we've got a good M8 thread on the end. There's a little relief at the end, nice chamfer at the beginning. The hole for the powder coat just there. The point is just, it's not as nice. I think it will come out fine on the powder coat, but it's not as nice as it normally is out of the house when you do two-op. But it's fine, it's just going in the ground. It's just literally just a point just to help drive in, so it's not an issue. Well guys, it went, it did not go right today. I tried to show you as much as I could. It was a bit of a rush around. We did get those tall lights finished, and they were collected. The customer had to wait 10 minutes, I think, or maybe 15. Not too long, but basically it was because of my redesign. But I wanted to make sure that it was better than the last time we did it, and it is like huge improvements. Hopefully they're happy with it. But yeah, so it's not a rush that I wanted at all because well, the idea, Max was building them. Fairness to him, this stuff happens. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying it's it's frustrating, is what I'm saying. But yeah, we got it done. Got there in the end. We've got through. We did get through a lot of our orders. There are a couple on there that we're just waiting. Apparently, so Karen was telling me that there's like one order that could have gone out today, but it was waiting for some black parts. And Joe, understandably, didn't want to change from brown to brown, which I completely get. So he, was just waiting to finish those last brown parts, and they took me ages because I had to redo those little rods. I've got those running on Nakamura now, which is awesome because it, saves us a whole process. And we've got these new little inserts and stuff, which do I need to tweak? Maybe I need to tweak. We'll see. We'll see when we build them onto wall art bases to see whether or not we need to tweak them. We might not. They might be absolutely fine. I think it might be just because they're on the rods and how the positioning was for the groove. But it's one of these things. It's all like trial and error, really. Like you build something new, or you do something new and you test it, and it's not always right the first time. Actually, the first few ones we did, we basically had assembled them, so we would have finished a little while ago. But it was the thread was off on the M10. I don't have an M10 thread gauge because I've never normally machined an M10 male thread. We normally just use a tap, so we don't need to check that the tap is correct because it's a tap. So yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it, really? And now my journey home is a lot longer. Not because I've moved or anything like that, but because they shut the road where I normally go home. Apparently for at least a week. Didn't give us any notice. I don't know if it's emergency or what. I drove down there the other day and saw it was closed. It's like right near the bottom, which is really annoying. And now I have to drive 3 extra miles to get home. And on top of that, this morning it's on the A23. It's a pretty major road. It's basically a dual carriageway section, and the lights are out on the road that goes into our village. So coming out of there with the lights out is a bit hairy because you've got to cross 4 lanes of traffic basically. And they're back now. But the thing is I think there must have been an electricity issue because they got a generator out there, and they closed the lane. So now I'm sitting in this traffic. Stop-start traffic, and it's going to take me a while to get home. Hey ho, these are the things that are sent to test us, as they say, right? Anyway, I hope you have a lovely day, and we'll speak to you all soon. Thanks.